Using the public transit system in Boston, one sight becomes ubiquitous: this map. Having lived in Greater Boston my entire life, I've grown up seeing this map, which has sparked a deep curiosity into the network that is the MBTA. The rapid transit system, shown on the map with a few key bus routes, takes several different forms like heavy rail on the red, orange, and blue lines, light rail on the green line, and the silver line is, well, buses. Why do these bus routes get their own color while every other route is stuck to a faint brown line on the map? To answer this question, we must first learn some history about the T. The MBTA began as a bunch of independent streetcar and railroad companies all running their own service throughout Boston and the neighboring communities. There used to be dozens of lines, much like the Green Line's 4 branches today, all snaking throughout the narrow streets of Boston. But what we care about is the old elevated railways that comprise the Orange Line. Up until the 1980s, the Orange Line, or L as it was called, was composed of different segments of elevated steel structures carrying passengers throughout busy downtown areas and through a wide variety of communities. After 80 years of service, these structures were beginning to show their age. Add the fact that the trains overhead were loud and casting shadows along the length of Washington Street, and the service began to lose its appeal. Separately, just about a mile west of Washington Street, the Southwest Corridor, a strip of land initially cleared for a highway stretching from Back Bay to the Arborway, lay vacant. MassDOT found itself with two problems and a seemingly obvious solution: move the Orange Line to the Southwest Corridor. It would provide the residents of Roxbury and Jamaica Plain with a new rapid transit service while removing the disruptions caused by the old elevated railway. It seemed perfect. The only problem, however, was that Washington Street would lose its fast connection to downtown Boston. The MBTA, and more importantly the residents of the South End and Roxbury, were not oblivious to this issue. While submitting their plan to relocate the Orange Line to the federal government for funding, MassDOT noted that it was their intention to provide equal or better service to the Washington Street corridor. This phrase, equal or better, became a rallying cry for high-quality public transit service along Washington Street. Initial plans were drafted to create a branch of the Green Line along the corridor. This plan was popular with residents who viewed the new tracks as a visible investment in their community. As soon as the MBTA began to plan the new Green Line branch, problems emerged. The street was too narrow in some intersections, more trains in the central subway might cause more delays, the tunnel had not been used in dozens of years, and on and on and on. Seeing all these problems, the T looked towards a new type of rapid transit not used before in North America: bus rapid transit. Community members were outraged. Why should their neighborhood be given a bus while other parts of Greater Boston get full subway service on the Red Line? Isn't this just another bus route like Route 49, the temporary replacement service for the Orange Line? And, perhaps more importantly, why was this temporary route around for upwards of 15 years as the MBTA stalled this project endlessly? The residents of the South End and Roxbury fought back intensely. A bus, BRT or otherwise, hardly seemed like equal or better service. BRT systems, while they seem like a cheaper, worse version of light rail, do have some merits. For one, their lack of permanent infrastructure makes adapting routes trivial, allowing detours for roadwork and adding service to new areas. Additionally, with dedicated bus lanes, service is often quite fast compared to traditional bus routes. I wanted to see if these characteristics are true of the Silver Line, so I decided to ride it. While the Washington Street routes on the Silver Line in principle have dedicated bus lanes, in practice they're often obstructed by double-parked cars or snow in the winter. Additionally, dedicated bus lanes are only present during some of the Washington Street section and very little of the downtown segment, which is the most congested. Furthermore, the bus lanes are identified only by paint on the roads, unlike the relatively newly constructed Columbus Ave bus lanes, where bus routes 22, 29, and 44 operate in a dedicated right-of-way in the median of the road. This to me makes the Silver Line feel even less like a proper BRT system and more like a glorified bus route. The Silver Line is still viewed in a negative light by a significant portion of residents here. The equal or better service that the MBTA promised in the 80s seemingly never arrived, and they are stuck with this incomplete bus route touted as bus rapid transit. Additionally, the Silver Line still struggles with connections to the rest of the MBTA system. The elusive Phase 3 was supposed to build a tunnel through downtown Boston, connecting two sides of the Silver Line and making connecting to the green, red, and orange lines trivial. These factors make it easy to hate on the Silver Line, especially when light rail is seemingly so possible in this corridor. However, there are a few benefits to the service I realized. For one, any public transportation infrastructure, Even making the Silver Line a rapid transit line on every MBTA map will increase the prominence of the surrounding neighborhoods and businesses. The Silver Line has undoubtedly had a profound impact on Washington Street, and it has resulted in a much improved streetscape with wider sidewalks and pleasant walking conditions. Additionally, the Silver Line serves many more stops along Washington Street than the old Orange Line did. It now stops every few blocks and provides many more residents of the South End and Roxbury a relatively quick connection to downtown. Overall, the Silver Line is perhaps the most controversial project the MBTA has undertaken in the past several decades. Knowing its history begs endless questions about why this corridor isn't served by light rail or even a heavy rail tunnel. But it does show the MBTA's willingness to try new technologies like BRT and expand their rapid transit network. Plans are drafted to further extend the Silver Line into Dorchester and Mattapan, so perhaps this ubiquitous map will become ever more expansive in the years to come.